might be ready to rock or roll or just go with the flow. Either one. We'll do it. Happy Wednesday. Good to see your faces. I love seeing working with our mentorship crew that we have. So excited to bring some more in today. And this is a professional development that I've done before, I think 2 years now. And it has been one that I really enjoy for many personal reasons, for reading and just growing as a teacher. But just a quick little warm up. I was wondering if anyone would want to share their favorite book. It can be your favorite personal book or your favorite teacher resource book. I love learning about people's favorite books because I feel like that tells them or tells me a lot about who they are. So, anyone wanna?
I think you need a Ruby Payne stuff. There's a couple out here. Ruby Payne's is heavily criticized. You may not realize this. She's not considered an academic. She's considered like an anecdotal, not a scholar, but an anecdotal person. Yeah. However, anybody who's spent a day at Rossville Middle will see that there's something very intuitive and authentic about what she's saying. So I've always liked her stuff. E.D. Hirsch, I think, is really good. Mm-hmm. He's also another controversial guy who's kind of critically challenged the notion of critical thinking and what it means. Not that it doesn't exist, but what it means for us as educators. He's a Common Core guy, and so there's some controversy around that as well. But I think a lot of the stuff he has is very, very good. And then, his name escapes me at the moment. Marching Off the Map. He's this Gen Z scholar who, what's his name? It'll come to me in a second. But, Gen Z is the generation of individuals that were born after 9/11. Mm-hmm. And so these are our kids, and these are the kids that have lived under the cloak of global terror their whole lives. Yeah. And that's resulted in a lot of things that I think from our experience with it we see it in the form of like extremely high anxiety with kids. And he talks about how the anxiety level of kids today is comparable to that of psychiatric patients in the 50s and 60s. It's like that real and big. And so I think all of those authors I think are really, really relevant to Rossville Middle School students. Hirsch, Ruby Payne, and when I think of, I'll Google them in a second. I'll just hang out. So.
No, and I agree, and I like what you said about, the author, you were talking about the author doing this, but I think it's important for us to think critically about the resources and the information that we're given and how it would impact our students and if it is relevant for our students. And, before coming here, I taught in Southside Chicago, and so we did like book studies all the time, and so they were giving us new books and mass, making us read all of these resources, and there were some that, it was a big Teach Like a Champion school, and that is very, like when you dive into that and like the control elements of all of that, it's, there's some very controversial things about it, and like I just went with it blindly, and then realized maybe that's not the right thing for my students, and you have to like know what works and definitely what works for your students and how it speaks to them and how they see it and how it translates in your classroom. Just really things for, easy things for you to digest in your free time and your brain, because we have so much of that, right?
His name is Tim Elmore, by the way. Tim Elmore,
okay.
Really great writers.
Anyone else? Dr. Simpson and I are just, having a chat this morning. I have, anyone want to share their personal favorite book? Does anyone have a personal favorite? I like just outside of this.
The Exorcist.
Okay, all right. I've never heard that. That's brand new information for me. Brand new, learning new things today.
Where they're from nerds. That's my favorite.
Okay, all right, yeah, all right. I think I knew that one about you. I think I knew that one. Anybody else?
Got a bunch of non-readers in here.
My favorite book, I got a favorite book. The Day the Crayons Quit and The Day the Crayons No. are my absolute favorite books.
All right, yeah.
What is it again?
The Day the Crayons Quit and The Day the Crayons Came Home. They're children's books.
Highly moving.
Absolutely love
They're
them.
great. They're great.
Yeah.
They're great.
Memories.
And those messages like speak to many beyond, little and
And Esteban the Magnificent makes us all laugh, but Esteban the Magnificent was not what he named pea green first. Esteban the Magnificent was something he threw out and his editor laughed. It was the first thing his editor laughed at. He's like, really, that? That's what you did?
Did you see the pictures of Riley when he dressed up like Esteban the Magnificent for Halloween?
No.
Oh, that's fun.
The toilet was the one that I remember.
Yeah.
Yes, Esteban the Magnificent would be a great one.
He had a cape, he had the Korean hat, it was good.
If you don't know, I have the book.
I threw some of my personal favorites up here, just in case, you were just really wondering. But my professional favorites are out here. Teaching with Love and Logic I go to it every single year. Many of you already know I've talked about this one. Also, I had the original cover and I miss it. I miss how ridiculously 80s it is, but this is a newer cover. But I gave that one to a student teacher and I didn't get it back. But I hope she's using it well. And Keeping the Wonder. This is one that I absolutely love, and it's great for like quick ideas to make your classroom much more engaging without putting in a crazy amount of effort, doing like a room transformation, things like that. It's just little tips that speak volumes and really get the students curious about what you're doing in your classroom. And then, my personal favorite, Teal Mockingbird. I have my own Atticus because of this. I taught it many years, love it, but we will keep going. Book trailers are something that I wanted to introduce today since we're on the topic of books, and we have, I think I've talked about book trailers with many of you before, but using them in your classroom are a great way to like set up a great bell ringer routine if you don't already have something like that in your classroom. But a great way to just expose students to books and get them connected to you and things that you like, and books that you've heard of or that you read when you were younger and things like that, just more personal connections. And it's just an easy way to hook students on books with just 2 to 3 minutes. I do one book trailer a week, and I do it on Tuesdays. We have book trailer Tuesdays, and I typically do it on the library days when we come to the library. But then sometimes I just do it on a regular Tuesday when we're not going anywhere, just because my students love it so much. And they're a great way to make reading exciting and getting them hooked. And it's a very no prep but high impact way to expose students to different types of books. So if you decided to start this in your classroom, you could, if you just expose them to one book trailer a week, you could expose your students to 20 plus books by the end of the year, and just giving them that exposure to that book. That's just something, even if they don't go and pick it up and read it, it is a conversation that they're like, oh, I've heard of that book, I know about that book, and then maybe one day they might go back to it. And then it's a great way to connect with you. Learning more about your readers and your classroom and like what they like to read. Again, some more bonding with them, and over time you'll be able to tailor your book recommendations to what they like. And I try to keep it with themes like in my classroom, but then sometimes I just know like if something's popular or something that I think that they're interested in, I go with that. And then our goal is to just build a natural community of readers where kids read for fun. And that's a hard thing to do. And I feel like giving them little book trailers is a great way to bring structure to your class and engagement and bonding, and then just hopefully building that community. So just a little, quick add in there. But that leads us into today, which we have a book tasting for you that I can't take full credit for. Giving credit to Dr. Reed because she has curated this amazing collection that we have in front of us. So you have a feast, a lot to devour. If you participated in this before, there are new books that we tried to incorporate this time. And there are also more books in the restricted section, as I should say. Harry Potter fan, get it? Sorry, the teacher resource section over here. There are many more over there for you to explore, and then several copies of these. Some I put additional copies out, but I kept 2 of my personal favorites close. But the rest of the time that we have, I'm going to give you a little bit to explore, and then thought we would bring it back together. You can keep the sheets that we passed out to you, so you can write as much or as little as you need to remind yourself of the books later if you want to come back to them. All of them will be able to be checked out at the end of the day.
I like the sticky note ones, because if you have those kids that won't talk to you, then, sometimes they'll write it down and hand it to you.
I did bring some of my personal books here. There is the books with the black and yellow stripes. I have several class sets of those books. Before coming here, I still am, I guess. They don't take your certifications away because they expire. But I was a Facing History and Ourselves certified teacher, and I received a bunch of class sets of those books. And they're really, really, really fantastic. All of Facing History's resources are incredible. And so if anyone ever wants to incorporate that, I have those sets. I always tell everybody, I'm like, I have this, anyone want to use it? Because I use some of them in my class, but some of them are probably more for higher reader, perfect for like 7th and 8th grade. But still, they can be adapted to 6th grade. I still use some of them. I use Little Things Are Big. There's a lot of short stories in that too. So take some time, explore, enjoy.